Why not, Rick? Why not? Why is your bet? Pat's pissed off.
The best players in the world are going to be here for the FedEx Cup playoffs, and also joining us are the best influencers in the golf betting realm as well. They're here on course at TPC Southwind. We're here for the FedEx St. Jude Championship. I can't wait to get this thing kicked off. We're here at the 14th hole. Welcome in at TPC Southwind. As I said, I've got four absolute legends in this space with us all week. They're going to have a little competition. We've got Rick Gehman, Ali McCann, of course Pat Mayo and Chris Money Mills, all here to be with us throughout the week in this first playoff event. Exciting times ahead. First of all, everyone, come on, you've got to give me your first impressions of being here on the site.
This place is mint. Yeah, I mean, obviously they've done some work around here, but it's in great shape, and it is scorching hot out here.
Yeah, I mean, the weather is just killing me right now, so I can't.
August, not the best time maybe for this tournament. Maybe we rewind it back to May.
Yeah.
Have some cooler temperatures would be a little bit nicer, I think.
I would say perfection. The people are great. The heat is fine. It's going to be a great week.
The swamp effect is in full effect, but we are going to have a great time here all week at TPC Southwinds. As I said, look, it's the start of the FedEx Cup playoffs. Everyone wants to know where their money should go, but everyone also knows that the world number one is in this field. Scotty Scheffler is here. Before we get into anything, we've got to get rid of that elephant in the room. What do we do when we have a 280 favourite, a plus 280 favourite in a golf event, a guy who's been winning everything, coming off obviously the Open Championship victory? What do we do?
Well, he is the elephant in the room. He's lurking on the top of every single betting board. He's the one that makes you wonder, do we go to the without Scotty market? That's a market just for him. I tend to lean on, he's the best player in the world by a mile. If you've bet him every event this year, you'd be up a little bit. And that's with the slow start coming off the hand procedure that he had earlier in the year. So I definitely skew towards, we're living in a moment. This is a moment of greatness. Let's continue to ride this moment.
Yeah.
Plus 280 is ridiculous, is what I'll start off saying. So let's say you give him let's be generous, 25% chance to win this tournament, which he does not have to win this tournament. He'd be, what, 4-1? That'd be a fair odd on a 25% winner, and we're not even getting 3-1. So yeah, he is the favorite to win. I don't think anyone's disputing that. But to invest your money that way is a terrible bet.
So I'm going to go to you on that because this is a big talking point, right, Pat? People say, well, if he wins, it's a good bet. There's argument against that, right? Like you've just talked about this. We should be getting better odds, and we do have markets, like you said, where we can go without him. But at the end of the day, if he wins, what are we going to do?
Because you're doing this every single week. You invest your money that poorly every single week, you're going to be down money in the long run. Now, yeah, Rick's right. Yeah, the past 2 years, it's been nice. But do you want to start betting golfers at less than 3-1?
This is very much like a personal preference for how you allocate your funds, right? Like if you are doing it every single week, you are probably not in a great spot to be betting Scotty Scheffler. If you are casually getting in and getting out and looking for the guy who is most likely to be in it on Sunday, have at it.
Yeah, you want to sweat, you want the entertainment, sure. But it's not the big payout like some of these other guys.
Chris, you love a big payout. Talk to me about Scheffler.
I do. No, I'm not touching it, and I haven't touched him all year long. For me, I think it just depends on your bankroll, your situation, right? At plus 280, in order for you, I mean, again, everybody to each their own, but in order to really have a big payday, you need to have a large investment on that plus 280. Versus someone like myself, and when I advise, I prefer to diversify my portfolio a little bit and sprinkle accordingly on guys where I find they have significant value. And if I hit one of those every 2 months, I'm going to be much more profitable than hitting Scotty 3 times over the course of 3 weeks.
Ali, don't you bet Scheffler every week, or have you got something else for us?
No, I'm not that naive. I predicted Scotty to have 5 wins before the season started. He's at 4. I would not be mad if he won this week, but I just can't justify that price. I mean, there's no profit.
It is. And look, we've got 4 different ways of approaching it, basically, 4 different points of view, and that's why we're here this week. Right? We've got you all here together, the Golf Bet crew here at TPC Southwind, because you're going to go head-to-head on your styles of betting and putting your money where your mouth is, so to speak, with the winner getting to take a fan or someone with you to TPC Sawgrass to play.
Rick's going to bring me.
Yeah, I mean, I figured you're going to work something out, right? One of you is going to take me, right? Anyway, you're going to get to go to Sawgrass, play around, and you're going to get bragging rights over your fellow influencers here. So we've got you with 25 units over the entire tournament, but it'll be 10 today, which is pre-tournament bets and round 1 bets, and then you'll get 5 units each round from there on. So after round 1, we'll have another crack. After round 2, we'll have another crack, etc., etc. And of course, we'll have shows after every round here, so make sure you're checking those out. And if you're in Memphis, you got to come and check us out at the BetSuite here on the 14th hole. We'll be here all week, as I said. They'll be around and about. They love shaking hands and telling you how good they are. We can hear all about it. You must come and check this out. All right, so the only person, though, we're going to start with, we're going to sprinkle those picks throughout this show. The only person who has touched Scheffler at all is Rick Gehman. Explain to me, here we have, we're going to put them up on screen.
Yeah.
These are your full tournament bets with your units on show.
Yeah, so Scotty Scheffler rolls out of bed and finishes inside the top 10. So I took his top 10 number, I parlayed it with Russell Henley to finish inside the top 20 and juiced it up to plus 163. I'm very comfortable with that, but that's the tip of the iceberg on my Scotty Scheffler exposure. The other tournament bet that I like the most is the winning score over 262.5. So Hideki Matsuyama won this event last year, 263, won it by 2 shots, could have won it at 264. We've got firm, fast, new greens out here. I think it plays probably a shot more difficult, especially early in the week. I like the over 262.5, which would be worse than Hideki's score last year.
I mean, I was here last year when Hideki looked like a pure winner until around about here somewhere where things started to go a little wrong. And I'll give him credit to be able to turn around how bad it went to how good it went was impressive. So, you know, he's going to be in the mix again here. Ball strikers, of course, we'll get into that as well. What about your round 1 bets here?
Yeah, so I'm getting off the blocks here with Harry Hall. So kind of further down the board, has to make a move. I took his over 4.5 birdies in round number 1. He's a prolific birdie maker. He's third on the tour in birdie average or birdie or better percentage, and he is a short game specialist who can sprinkle in some tee to green and some ball striking prowess along the way. You got to make putts out here to make birdies. Harry Hall's got work to do. Give me over 4.5.
Anyone?
I'm jumping on the Harry Hall for a first round 2 ball as well. I have him over Akshay at minus 110, only because we watch this with Akshay every single week. He might get me with a 63.
Yep.
You know, I'll throw my hands up, that'll be that. But
There's also a lot of water out
There's
here.
a lot of water out here. And the ball isn't going quite as straight as it used to for him.
I mean, you guys have seen what he's putting out there. He's the first one who's put his money where his mouth is. We've got it on the screen.
Oh, yeah, the big money on Scotty Scheffler.
Minus 175.
Yeah. Minus
go,
10,000 Scotty Scheffler. Let's go.
Cash them all.
So
Scotty to make the cut.
So our data man here, you're going to just try to take it step by step and just kill him to death with paper cuts. Is that
Yeah,
what's gonna happen
so
here?
I took a very conservative approach out of the gate. I knew exactly what Pat was going to do, which is going to be pure
We'll get to
chaos
that, yep.
in just a second. I did not know what Ali or Chris were going to do, so I figured I got time. I can ease my way into this. I've got units to keep in my pocket for later, but I'm going to try to bank some wins early.
Well, keep in mind, you can't take any loans. You can't borrow any units come Friday.
Uh-oh.
I love that. All right, what we will talk about now, because this is a factor when we come to a course like this. This is a regular tour stop at TPC Southwind. However, after the tournament last year, they blew up all the greens. They resurfaced them. They put in the new grass. And of course, when you get new greens, you get a bouncier effect, you get things changing. So you have to now factor current form as well as what's been done here before. I'm going to get to each of you on how you sort of balance that and what the changes to this course has done. But first, I'm going to go to you, Ali, because you have an insider on the agronomy staff here that I've heard. You've had lots of chats with the people in the know. Tell us what you do know about the changes here.
Well, I did speak with Larry, who's the general manager of the course here, and Larry kind of let me know that basically the goal was to not make this a harder course. It was to make a good course even better. Obviously, we're going to see a couple new bounces here and there, some new greens, some updates, but also, you know, no one's played on this course since January 4th, so we don't really know how it plays. Obviously, these guys have been playing it over the course of the last few days, so I'm sure they'll figure it out by Thursday or Friday, but basically what we can expect is new tee boxes. Number 2 and number 11, they are in new
Areas.
locations.
Yep.
So they may play more difficult, but the big project was the new greens.
Yeah.
They basically restored these greens from the ground up. They're still Bermuda grass, but they're
Different
Tip
strain,
Eagle
right?
as opposed to Champion. But also these approach areas are new as well. They're no longer Bermuda. They are Zion Zoysia,
Oh,
which
sensational.
is the,
Well done.
the
Yep.
same grass that is on the fairway. So he did say those will play different. They don't know if they'll be easier or harder, but I do think that you should kind of take those
Things into
things
consideration.
into consideration before placing your bets.
I definitely want to ask data man Rick here
Yeah.
on that. Like, did you change anything in your model given that there may be a slight differences?
So I think there's two things, and Ali nailed it, right? The Zoysia greens, the ball sits up a little bit. You got to pick it very, very clean. I think it helps the better approach players, the better iron players. But what we're seeing on these greens is some pretty big bounces. It's not the launch, the launch monitor TrackMan contest, you're going to have to consider where the ball is bouncing. Distance control is going to be more important. Things that Scotty Scheffler does
Scotty
better
Scheffler,
than
yeah,
everybody else. All that stuff
Yeah.
is like the way that I see this playing.
When the ball sits up like this, and we've been noticing it on the approaches to the 14th, like your ball's already up on a tee, you're going to get more loft and you can control the spin a little bit better. But every shot that comes up short is staying short. There's no bumping and running it up there. You're not going to have it leg up. And basically every ball that we've seen hit the green too, unless it's flighted perfectly with that spin control, it's just going right off the back. So one of the things that I noticed when we were walking around here, despite an amateur beating the crap out of Ludwig playing with him, but I watched Ludwig hit about 3 putts. All of them came up wildly short.
Right.
So getting that speed control down on these new greens, at least in the first few rounds, is probably going to lead to some awkward scores round 1 and round 2. Now everyone gets their 4 rounds. If you're going to play some of the lowers on these rounds 3 and rounds 4 are probably the route that you want to go. It's going to take this adjustment period.
I love what you've just touched on there. You obviously have over-under first round bets coming up. So are you suggesting maybe people lean towards more overs in round 1 with this unknown?
The move is to always shade the overs for the bigger name players. So if you play 4 guys, be it Scheffler, Xander, Thomas, and Fleetwood, take those 4 guys. If you bet over on their round 1 scores, you'll probably win 3 of them.
Yeah, there you go. All right, you're a bit more having a crack, right, Chris? So what's your thought? Do you even care that they change these greens?
What did Happy Gilmore say? Just let me put the ball in the hole.
Yeah, right, okay.
Right? Greens or no greens, again, every time I go into looking at and putting my slate together, I try my best to go into 3 different things, right? Course history, current form, and similar courses. So yes, the greens have changed, whether they've increased in square footage a little bit versus what they were last year. I think at the end of the day, there's certain players that fit this course, and I don't think that changes just because of the change in the greens. So for me, walking around here, greens look nice. I think everything is beautiful, but no, it didn't affect what I did this week.
Using the BetSports Golf rabbit hole and looking at what the comp courses are and what actually plays here, it's all ball striking anyway. So this was one of the easier greens to putt on, one of the easier chipping contests around. Maybe that gets slightly more difficult, but if you're not striking the ball, especially off the tee, there's so much water around here. So unless you're precise off the tee, have precision irons, if you're missing the green, you're not going to do well anyway.
Yeah.
So unless you're playing the ball from the fairway, they'll figure out the greens. They are professional golfers. They're not playing on gravel.
Yeah, you mentioned the water. Obviously, you can't get up and down from the water, right? Like you can't do that, and there's lots of that here. We've seen many a player come unstuck around this course over the years. So there is that ball striking element that we've been talking about. Now, speaking of that, then we're going to go to who Ali thinks who's going to do well over this week. We're going to go to your tournament bets. I know there's a man who's done well here once or twice that you've got your eye on.
Yeah, so I'm going to go with Victor Hovland as my outright. I know the girls like him on TikTok for other reasons, but I like him this week because of his approach play. Obviously, there's a premium on approach play this week, but the margin for error is so thin. You got to be precise with your irons, and I just feel like he fits that perfectly for me. He's also got great course history here. Tied for 20th, tied for 13th, tied for 2nd in his last 3 starts. And also, like, you have to be able, like Pat said, land the ball in precise spots. You have to be able to flight it, spin it, and I just feel like he is the perfect guy for that.
We caught up with him quickly at the range earlier, and he mentioned, the greens are definitely much different. They're firm and fast. It's going to play a little bit different. Coming off that runner-up finish from last year, he seemed pretty confident.
Yeah, no, I think that was everything I needed to know.
That's going to be your unit builder at the end of the week when you take over these 3 guys, right, and win this prize. But you also have Fleetwood and Russell Henley as prop bets there. I like both of those. But tell me more about now your round 1 scenarios.
Yeah, so I don't know if you guys will like this very much. I don't think you will, but I am going to actually take Lowry over Cam Young in round 1. And the main reason for that is just because he is coming off his first ever win, right? So you have to think those emotions are pretty high, and I feel like it's going to take him a day or 2 to maybe get his bearings again, and for that, I want to go with Lowry. I also know that Lowry is 3rd on approach this season, so I feel like that helps him kind of have a leg up coming into round 1 as opposed to Cam Young.
It's a good talking point, though, when you have a guy who's obviously spent all that energy, it's been so many, 9,000 runner-ups on tour before he got his victory, Cam Young. There's got to be an emotional letdown, and that brings a physical letdown, right? You have that crash at some point. Are we worried about him at all in that?
Are we sure that Cam Young has emotion?
He was very stoic after that. I mean, you can have the crash or you can ride the high. Lucas Glover did it 2 years ago. And this course, weirdly enough, although you walk around here, Rick, you and I walked around Sedgefield last year, the courses don't look the same. But similar elements go into winning both tournaments. Like when you miss the fairway at Sedgefield, you're kind of screwed. Yeah. It's more of a wedge fest than you're going to see around here. But the moment you miss the fairway here, you're kind of screwed as well. You saw the ball sitting down there, you were like, no, that ball's going to go to the very bottom. That rough. It's like, no, it's going to sit up. No, it goes to the bottom. So then all of a sudden, I don't care how good of an approach player you are. If you're playing from the rough here, you're going to be absolutely disastrous.
I see we've got a special guest behind us.
See the rough.
It's Vernon,
going on, yeah.
a local radio legend. Would you want to join us?
Yeah, I'm in.
All right, we're gonna. You guys mind if we put it on?
You know what? He brought his own microphone. I think he's doing fine.
I've got a
Just happen to
microphone.
have one.
I've even got a microphone on. Oh, I messed up his camera. I don't want to mess up the show.
Welcome to the BetSuite here
This is amazing.
in your town.
This is amazing.
Right.
You know, this is the party hole.
Is that right?
Yeah. So everybody hangs out right down there.
Yeah.
If they birdie this for 5 minutes, all the beers are half off.
Half off.
Yeah.
Half off.
I think it's
of this.
$5.
And that's obviously
serious.
in betting parlance.
People get hammered at this.
So I'm sure we're going to have hole-by-hole betting all tournament long as well. So if you
Yes.
want to get on birdies
14.
or better, birdies or better at 14.
I would bet the lower on
not
birdies or
birdies.
better here. This is
Yeah.
a tough hole.
Okay, so
I think that's why they do half price beer.
We're going bogey or worse.
Bogey or worse.
There were more balls in the water last year than birdies made, so
See, this is the insight we've got you here for.
And that's why they put the promotion on at this hole, too.
Well, also we were watching Hideki play earlier, and those greens are bouncy.
Yeah.
So I can definitely.
Well, when you're coming in from a long or whatever iron, and you've got to try to hold a new green, that's very tough.
Yeah.
Tell us who you like as we all come to your town to spend
Well,
some time.
I happened to be walking by at the beginning of the show, and I heard, I mean, everybody hates free money. Why do you like? You guys all.
I will book your Scotty action.
Why can't we? Fine. If you want to give me money, you can give me money. I mean, plus 280 sucks for sure, but I'm putting up. I mean, I bet. So this is how I look at it, Pat. I'll give you an example. I probably bet $200 on the thing, right?
Okay.
Is my $200 better spaced out everywhere, or just taking my $560 at the end of the tournament? When I have not bet him in the big moments, I'm like, what is wrong with me?
Yeah.
I could have just had $560, but now I got $0.
Or
and so
you take that 200, remove Scotty from the equation, use some of these picks of winner without Scotty,
I'm gonna try to.
and you make a whole lot more.
I'm gonna try
plus
to.
280.
I've got one guy that's played well here. A guy that the Ping guys who I was with yesterday, they told me, I said, you got a guy for me? And they gave me this guy. So they might be a little biased.
yeah.
But they say he's been playing great. I went back and looked. Majors, he was second in 2 different majors. He was the only one he didn't do well in was the U.S. Open. So I'll write that off, right?
Yeah, tough course. Don't worry about that.
But Harris English was been awesome in all the good.
There we go.
And I watched his interview yesterday, and he was very keenly aware of all the different new things about this course, right? He was talking about his approach shot on 3 and how they kind of shaved it down on the side, so a lot of balls are going to be rolling into the water, so you got to play it out more left. And I've followed him actually a couple years ago when he was great here. Also, Georgia guy, right? So
Used to the
he's
weather.
not. Yeah, this isn't appalling to him in the same way that some of these guys really do get beat down by it, and then start bitching about it when they don't play well. But there's other guys that are built for it. He's built for it. Harris English built for it. He usually wears good clothes, so he doesn't get swamp ass, and he's not
No Lucas Glover.
Yeah, he's not Lucas Glover. And the other thing is, I need somebody cool and the big names haven't won this. And somebody I can interview. All right.
You're not getting Scheffler
Harris
after the
English
win?
cool?
No, I think he's cool.
Okay.
He's American. So here's the deal. I usually get the winner in studio. They come around and they you know, they shake hands, kiss babies, do all the sponsor stuff. They come in town, right? And then they'll bring them in and they'll say, hey, remember, the tournament's coming up, and here's last year's winner. The last one I got in studio was Will Zalatoris, because we went on a run, and it was like
Brooks.
Abe Answer. No, Brooks would have done it. Abe Answer, Hideki. Lucas Glover didn't make the top 70 the next year, right? He wasn't even here. Like, we have had some, like, weird winners here.
Well, wouldn't that be a reason not to bet Scheffler then? There's so much water.
It's true.
It's like PGA National. There's so much variance in a course like
true.
this. One bad shot ejects you.
It reminds me a lot of TPC Sawgrass.
Yeah.
Which is where Scotty Scheffler's won
That's
twice.
fine. He wins a lot of places. Listen, he's won the Masters twice. Did you bet him at the Masters?
I mean, I'm just saying, it's plus.
I'll say this about Scheffler. I have been the guy who's parroted what you've said this whole time, like, stay away from him, stay away from him. You know, I had actually everyone else in the field at the Open. And what happened?
Me too.
So
it
it's
happens.
Like,
Listen, sometimes Scotty gets you. That's okay. The week Scotty doesn't win, think about the boost in value you get on every
All
other
right. I'm gonna give you an example, right? So I love betting on college football. I bet on them every week, right? And I used to have this thing where I'd say, if he has reached what I would call Saban Bama level, right? So when I would bet against Alabama, and they would kick the hell out of the team, and they would cover by 1 million, and they win 51-10. But they were 21-point favorites. I would go, I couldn't sleep at night. Like, what is wrong with me?
Yeah.
Why am I betting against Alabama? Like, but if they lose, it doesn't bother me that much. It's like, all right, I lost with Alabama. They didn't cover 21.
Yeah.
Okay, no big deal. I'm kind of that level with Scotty Scheffler now. I'm sorry.
For me, it's a little bit different, because you look at football, which I do football as well, and you have that line, you have that spread. You're getting it at minus 110, right? But you're giving up something for those odds.
That's right.
So here we're coming in Scotty's plus 280.
Yep.
If you give me plus 3.5 shots on everybody else, then it makes more sense.
I got it.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
Versus everybody's starting at even. Scotty Scheffler's never won here. Comparable courses are Colonial, did not win, right?
Yeah.
Did not play well that week. Hilton Head, did not win. Very comparable course. For me coming into here, I just don't think at that value, plus 400, plus 500, I'll jump all over it. I hope that he struggles day one
so
you can get him live.
Can I ask about a potential that I've heard people say and ask about whether they should do in the betting Scheffler scenario, right? It's like, okay, you've got your money, you've got your value. There are people who will put a chunk on Scheffler as like a bank builder, right? As a holder. If he wins, I'm not going to lose, but then they'll go higher odds players as well. Is there any method in that? Is there any reason to go, okay, a chunk on Scheffler to cover?
So
and then
anti-Scheffler, Pat.
No.
You're so anti-Scheffler.
No, you're playing the game to win. When I win and I hit a winner, I want to win money. I don't want to break even because of my 80-1 hit because I bet all this money on Scheffler. It's a terrible idea.
But what if he's like just way better than everybody else?
That's fine.
Like, that's where we're at.
That's fine. Maybe he's won, 4 of 14 tournaments. So you had 10 tournaments in
He's
there.
won like 17 of 40.
That's right. So he's winning less than half the time. Well, why isn't your bet Scotty Scheffler? All 10 units on Scotty Scheffler to win.
I've got 15 units to go. I've got 15 units
It's
to
going to be
go.
live bet Scotty every single day?
Every hole.
I'm pretty sure
Why not? Why not?
Scotty's like
Why
minus
not, Rick?
280.
Why not?
right,
Why
tomorrow.
is your bet? Pat's pissed off.
Listen,
I don't care. I like free money.
I'm going with
You know
Harris
what?
English. Harris English may be free
I do
money.
like, we are
All right,
we are
that
in
is a good
agreement.
transition.
We're in
We're
agreement
going
on
to
Harris
come.
English.
You know what? He's going to be flying back to Canada, and he's going to be like, oh, my
We're
God.
going to transition, Pat. We're gonna
That's what
put
I
this
said.
up.
That's every week, Vernon. It's fine.
It's up on the screen now, Pat. Your tournament bets.
So
you do have some English action.
I got 4. Let's
go.
Yeah, there we go, buddy.
That's
We got-
3 on the
Now,
team.
Xander is
same
number
page.
1 on that list. So Xander's by far the second best player in this field. He is 18-1 to win this tournament. So what you would have to bet on Scotty is what? Rick, you're the math man over there. I would get what?
Let's go.
9.
I'd have to bet
$8,000?
6.5 times as much on Scotty to get the same payout as Xander.
Yeah.
Does Scotty have a 6 times better chance of winning this tournament than Xander? I would say no.
The answer you want, is no.
So Xander's the bet at 18-1. But that means, because I'm not betting Scheffler, I can actually afford to bet on some other guys to win this tournament too. So we're going to go with Ludwig, who I just mentioned. He's getting it out of his system now, leaving the.
He already hates this bet.
I don't mind it. Yeah, you hate it because you saw him today. We'll get to that. But I don't mind it because one of my omen things is first guy you see whenever on site, you've got to do something with.
He wants to change his thing, but they've already got the graphic.
Yes.
They've already got the graphic. The graphic
You want to be long and straight.
Screenshot it. Everybody screenshot it so he can't change his crap.
It's no different than betting on Victor this week, in my mind. Yes, Victor's the better iron player. Ludwig is the better driver of the golf ball right now, especially when we're thinking about distance and accuracy. What do they both have in common? They can't chip. Now, yes, the green complexes have changed, and if that makes it more difficult, he's cooked. But if it remains the same as it has, we've seen a lot of very poor around the green players do well here. So hopefully that works for Ludwig, and Ludwig's putter comes and it goes. Hopefully it's one that shows up this week, to rephrase myself, in that kind of way. So then we go a little bit longer. We go Harris English 45-1. Former winner here, he's been playing great. And listen, he's probably a lock for the Ryder Cup team anyway. Another good showing here, might even get him in on points at this point. And then the U.S. Open winner. We talked about if you do poorly there, no big deal. What if you do well at the U.S. Open? J.J. Spawn had this tournament in the bag 3 years ago, the year Will Zalatoris won. What did he shoot on Sunday? 78. He's now a major championship. He's got the stones to do it on Sunday now. He comes back, seeks his revenge on Southwind, 55-1. Not bad.
Can you imagine? Did anybody out there, after watching him shoot 40 on the front nine at that US Open, JJ Spawn, go,
Crazy.
oh, in this rain delay, I'll put on this 200-1 bet? Like,
No, I bet on Scotty Scheffler live, and he didn't.
yeah, so I mean, like, that was the most unlikely.
There's some history here.
It all makes sense now.
Okay. This was me with LSU. The year Burrow was so awesome. I'm like, they can't keep beating the shit out of Oh, sorry. They can't keep destroying everybody, right? Yeah, they could.
Right,
They could.
We'll go to you, and you've got some sprinkle here across the first round as well. What's your favorite here?
So first round, I went with Kirk and Denny as first round leaders at 50 and 60-1. I also put them as top 10 first round at 4 and 5-1. And because it's not just Chris who can make the crazy parlays, we're going with a 4-banger of a parlay in 2 balls. Head-to-head matchups. I'm fading your guy, Shane Lowry.
Okay.
Dude can't putt. Eject him off the scores. Get him out of here. We're going to go with Harry Hall in his 2-ball. We're going to go again. It's more of a play against players. I don't like Jake Knapp here. 2 in shape. It's not going to work well. He's going to be sweating like I am. He's going to be sweating like I am
Then
right
why
now.
would you bail on Lowry?
Oh, because he can't putt.
He's out of shape. Which is it, Pat?
Shane won't love
Got
that.
Which is it?
Shane's
He
pretty
can't
fit
putt.
these
Let's
days.
throw him off the ledge here at least for 1 round. So you go against him. You go against Jake Knapp. You go against Akshay, and you start taking the players that I like a little bit more. You end up on Harry Hall, who Rick likes Harry Hall. Harry
Hands
Hall's
up,
great.
I do.
Wears a goofy hat. It's perfect.
It does.
You know, really cover the front of the head, not so much the back of the head out here with the way the Dom DeLuise hat goes. But you got him, and you got, who else are we going with here? J.J. Spawn. I bet him to win. Might as well bet him in round 1 as well. Denny McCarthy, I really like this week. I bet on him as first round leader. If he's first round leader, I hear that will win you your first round matchup. If he doesn't, I'm going to be very, very upset if that one is a push. So you put those all together. You can play 2 of them by themselves, all 4 of them by themselves, or you put all 4 of them together. Now you got 11.5-1. You got 5 times as much as you'd win on Scotty Scheffler.
I thought you were going to round robin all of them. That's what I thought.
I ran out of units. I ran out of units.
If we just give everyone 0.1 of a unit for every bet, we can.
I
bet the whole
argued
field
for
here,
the quarter
69.
unit, and they would not give it to me. But when this hits, I'm going to Sawgrass is what's happening.
Oh, I see. So one thing you did mention in there too, you were talking about Ryder Cup, and there are implications not just for that, but also the FedEx Cup playoffs are here. Right, so one of the things we have to think about potentially, and you can tell me if I'm off base here again, but you've got a situation where you've got guys on bubbles, whether it's Ryder Cup bubble or the top 50 bubble to get signature events here next week. Right, you're doing head-to-heads, especially come the final rounds, and you've got guys who need to make a run or need to keep playing versus ones who are already in next week or who are already locks for something. Do you factor any of that into your thinking?
There's something really interesting this week where there are actual like target goals for these guys.
Yeah.
Right. So Aaron Rai, I think he needs a 2-way tie for 40th or better. Ricky Fowler, 2-way tie for 17th or better. And they're going to know that, which is kind of rare. You know, you get guys in these events where it's like I need to win, or if I'm out of it, who really like. Some of these guys really do have to play every single shot throughout, and they're going to know what that barrier is. And you could look at Aaron Rai's top 40 number. You could look at Ricky Fowler's top 20 number and consider that a little bit of extra motivation.
Or be like, hey, if they were so good, they probably would be there already, so
Wouldn't
bet
need it.
against them because they crumble under the pressure.
Right, well, this is the discussion point, right? You look at, I'll use my Aussie mate Cam Davis as an example, playing not well at all for most of the season, gets in, sneaks in 69th on the points list, but he's going to come out here knowing it's top 20 or bust. So if you like him at all, and he has had a top 10 here a couple of years ago, do you go, well, I know he's going to fight to finish top 20, I get great odds because he's at the back of this field. Is there anything in that, Chris?
Yeah, I mean, I think that, the guys that are coming in, Eric Van Rooyen is another example of that, just sneaking in. They have nothing to lose, right? They know that they need to perform in order to move on. Unfortunately, at this course, there's a lot of water, right? So you have to be patient. You have to pick your spots, right? If you're going after the wrong pins, you're wild off the tee, you're going to pay for it. So I think it depends. You have to go in with your game plan, whether or not you want to play aggressive and commit to it, or you want to kind of play safe and let other people make those mistakes. But I think that the guys that are outside the top 50, I think they're playing with less pressure than anything because they're playing with house money.
So yeah, I look at the guy right on the bubble. Case in point is another Aussie, Minwoo Lee, sitting there. He loves to go after it, right? But he's almost maybe going to be forced to somewhat play defensive to keep his position in the signature events next year. Is that going to negatively affect him?
I think that Minwoo's just going to bomb it away. So when you're thinking about Minwoo, you have to think about range of outcomes. If things go poorly for Minwoo off the tee, like he won in Houston by driving it wherever he wanted.
Yeah.
He even tried to hit that guy in the boat coming down the stretch, still ended up winning. It was fine. Now, we've seen him perform well here. We've seen him perform poorly here. So he's going to continue to be aggressive regardless of what happens. It might lead to him coming in last place, but if you want to play the other end of the spectrum, like a top 5 bet would not be a crazy thing because he can putt, he can bomb it. Not great approach player. That's okay when you're hitting it to 110 yards out and you're not having to lay back. So you can get away with being aggressive. You just got to be good.
The thing I like about Minwoo is he's got confidence, and I feel like that confidence is going to carry him this week.
So I was going to ask you, do you take what you see out of players and their personalities and what you feel, can you factor that in? That's tough for a data guy, but
I hate that.
Do you feel like you can factor that confidence into your thinking?
Yes, 100%. Yeah. I do believe that Minwoo Lee is going to show up this week. I like your thought on a top 5. I would love to see him in the top 5.
But again, those are factors that we can get a better sense of. And this is what's a little different for all of you. You do go out on site at PGA Tour venues every now and then, but you're here this week. Do you get extra information when you're on site from these people?
As much as I wish this tournament was played in a spreadsheet. It is nice to get out here and see what's going on, especially with the new greens, especially seeing, you get up on the range and you see guys that are like legit in the grind and have 3 coaches around them. We're cooked, right? That guy's cooked. Scotty gets out there, checks his grip, looks down.
Scotty's got the belt loop with his brush on it.
It's just no problem. So there are definitely things that you can take from it. I know.
Dude, I tell you this, the most money I ever made on this was years ago when it came down to the final round. It was Koepka and Rory. I don't even remember what the odds were at the time, but Rory showed up. It's like at the range, whatever. Those were the top 2, and they're playing it around. And I've walked with them for 18 holes, but it wasn't even that. Koepka showed up like 20 minutes before his tee time. Everybody was like, dude, is he going to show up? You remember this? And he was like, where is he? Where is he? And like when he showed up, he's like, I know where I'm going to hit the ball. And I was like, oh, we bet everything on him, and he destroyed Rory. It was great.
You get that sense, though, but you talk to athletes all the time. Athletes, it's not that they're lying. It's just they have a bad judge of these certain things. Like, hey, I'm feeling great right now. Doesn't mean they're going to play.
That's right.
Or the guy who's an absolute shambles, you get him on the course in a more confined situation where he has to focus. All of a sudden it comes back to him.
I just felt like he little boyed him. That was like Brooks' peak. He was like, he had the chest out.
He hit like
was like,
5 balls on the
alpha
range
male.
Didn't go to sleep from the night before.
Yeah. Rory's like, thinking about it.
The opposite then of that, Pat, is that you can get too influenced by what you guys are seeing here this week. Is that a possibility too?
Yeah, I would say sometimes it's good and bad, right? You can have see a guy have just an awful range session. Next thing you know, he gets on the course and he's first round leader, right? Golf sometimes just doesn't make sense. So you can get too much information and could actually hurt you.
Like Pat seeing Louis Oberg putt it twice and want to take it off the graphic.
The amateur whooping him.
Whooping him. Out driving him.
Crazy.
This AM was great.
Who was it?
It was some old dude. We were like, some old dude.
Yeah, he had to be like 60-some, 70-something.
What?
Yeah.
He was playing from the whites, and Ludwig was
And,
playing
like,
from the pros.
chip on his
Ludwig
shoulder.
was like complimenting him.
Ludwig's giving
Pro-am. It was the Pro-am.
This
Yeah.
guy- Ludwig's dapping up like, I can't believe this guy's great.
And the guy, like, every time Ludwig complimented him, he's like,
Yeah, just
To your point, 2 years ago, before the first round, till sunset grinding on this range was Victor Hovland. Absolutely a shambles. Like, I couldn't even talk to his caddy. They were that mad. He was almost in tears. It looked like how awful that session was. I told anyone that I could that did not look good. And he came out the next day and was terrible. So I was like, we're getting there.
So it indicated nothing.
No, we're getting there. Terrible, right?
and everyone loved me.
And
for
I
the
was like,
best.
how good? Then he went bang, 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 finished second
Yeah.
at this tournament. So he found something in that tragedy, right? Like, so you have to be careful with sometimes with the information you can garner. And look, I know you like to feel things and get ready. So it's your turn, Chris, for your picks. You've got some tournament bets here. You're going to go some longer shots here.
Yeah, I also think, like, on that point, you can be completely prepared. You can use all the data in the world to make your picks, but a guy can step on the first hole, stripe a drive, hit it to 3 feet, and miss that 3-foot putt.
Yes.
And then he's in here.
Yep.
And then what would have been potentially, -6 that day, he ends up turning over +4.
Yeah.
Right. So it's just as much here as it is physical, and with all the data and everything at your disposal, that doesn't change that. I mean, I love all the picks so far. Honestly, I'm
Are you
supportive
about them all?
of most of them. I'm not. There's some that I definitely won't. Some that I do have. But yeah, I almost dropped my mic when you took over for Harris English because he's high on my list.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
I have FOMO on Harris English
Well, you
now.
get in.
But the way that I am going to do it differently is because I do agree with everything that everybody said about Scottie Scheffler. I just don't know how you beat the guy in 4 rounds, given how well he's playing. So what I'm going to do is completely remove him from the tournament. I'm going to bet the winner without Scottie Scheffler. And Harris English is 4,500.
Yeah.
You can get him without Scottie for plus 3,500. So I can wake up Thursday morning and then go to sleep Sunday night and not worry about Scottie Scheffler at all and still get him at plus 30.
Oh, so you're betting him just to get second?
Correct.
Or
win.
win. But I can see you, and you, especially like in the back of your mind, like you just gave up plus 1,000.
Well,
right?
there's 2 ways that you can go about that, though. So, one, you can allocate 90% of your money on that bet and then play the Scottie Harris English Exacta, which will pay like 125 to 1, as a way to boost that back up if you wanted to. Or books are slow to adjust the without markets versus the main markets. Sometimes you look at the without Scottie, Justin Thomas, Page, and all of a sudden the odds are 1 point worse than they would be with these guys in the field. So there's actually better value on that bet than the actual outright bet. You just need to catch them.
Exactly. One of those being Hideki Matsuyama,
There you go.
defending champ, coming in with really good form. He right now on FanDuel, he's plus 3,200 to win. You remove Scottie, he's plus 3,000. So a difference of plus 200, give me that all day. Don't have to worry about Scottie at all.
All right. I got to bring you to a little task here. I've seen it on your graphic now, and I still think I saw it on your graphic.
Start with him.
The Kiwi to beat the 3 Aussies, top Oceania. Why are you shading my Aussie boys in this tournament?
I mean, I feel like I could throw that question back to you because you already know the answer, right? Ryan Fox has 2 wins this year. The other 3 Aussies have 1 combined. And I don't know the last time they do. I don't know if they've made a cut in the last month. No, I honestly just think that at plus 260 to beat 3 guys where he's playing better golf than all 3, it's absolutely a value bet. And at plus 260 to beat 3 guys, I'll take that all day.
I thought Foxy was like your adopted son anyway.
Yeah, we love the Fox. The Fox is pretty cool. But if it comes down to it, and I got to go Aussie or Kiwi, clearly I'm going to go with the Aussie. I'll say this. I did mention to the 3 Australians, I like to give them nuggets that they get a little bit worked up about. And I did tell the 3 boys that in the FedEx Cup era, and it would go back way further than that, so, but 08 onwards, there has not been a Tour Championship without an Australian in it. And right now, there is not an Australian in the top 30. Jason Day's at like 37th on the list or whatever, trying to make it there. And they took that a little bit personal, and they're like, we'll fix it.
That's a great nugget.
There's something there.
You gave them the motivation to ruin their bets.
So we'll see. Like
I
Jason
appreciate
Day,
you
obviously
telling
the
them
closest
that
chance.
after we make the bets.
And Jason is either feast or famine here. So he could ruin your bet just off. He could have a terrible week, or he could have a good week.
Chris and I were talking about that earlier. The moment you start picking on Jason Day in head-to-heads, it's 8 under first round. You're like, where is this for the past 3 months, man?
Exactly. So, all right, let's transition to your first round because you're going to try to knock them all out of the park in this first round.
This has been a very good year. I've had 9 first-round leaders that I've hit. And I think that the way that I go about it, I think that there's a way that gives me a leg up. We can go into that in detail, but I won't do that for this show. I'm just going to give you guys the picks. So for me, at plus 4,000, I'm going to go with Ben Griffin. Arguably the second best player on tour, maybe third if you count Rory. He's had a pretty good year, but obviously Scotty. But at plus 4,000, when there's only 70 players in the field, those are his odds in a normal tournament when there's 140 people playing. First round leader is an absolute, crapshoot. You can have somebody. It's definitely tough, which is why the value is there.
Yeah, correct.
But when I'm looking at first round leaders and looking at winners of the tournament, there's always a discrepancy for certain players. So someone like a Matthew Fitzpatrick, who's plus 2,000 to win this tournament, he's plus 3,500 to be first round leader. That's almost double the value for him to win 1 versus win 4 rounds. So I always try to find where that value is. So 2 guys that I really like this week, reason being course history, course comparability, but also just overall form. So I really like Fitz and I really like Griffin, plus 3,500 and plus 4,000 to be first round leader tomorrow.
Yeah, I think the key to first round leader bets, right, everyone, is this is not where you're trying to make your huge, bankroll or whatever else. This is your sort of lottery fun pick, right?
Yep.
Like this is your.
Don't necessarily agree with that. I win more in the first round leader market than I do in the outright market. All you need to do.
That helps when you
Because
bet
you don't
everyone.
bet Scotty Scheffler.
That's right. Hey, how about
When you're living at the bottom of
every
the
player in the field.
Have fun with your
first
Johnny
round
the
leader.
Biggest first round leader.
The biggest thing, though, is you can pick on a certain skill set. What does this person do at an elite level? And will that translate to scoring? Can they be slightly above average at the stuff they're normally not as good at on the other days? For 1 round, you can do that.
Yep.
That exposes itself over the 4 rounds. So if you have someone like Aaron Rai, one of the better at both accuracy and approach players, can't really putt, but for 1 round, he could potentially putt. There's a good spike type play. That's why I'm taking someone like Chris Kirk and someone like Denny. Denny is an elite putter. He putts. Right now, he's not putting at an elite level. His tee to green is actually quite good, and he's not putting. Putting starts coming back, boom, Denny's up by 3 in the first round, and then he won't win like normal.
I'll give you a heads up, too. I play this course all the time.
So Chris Vernon, first round leader.
This is not a hard course to putt on at all. No.
New greens?
Can you
New
get us?
No. You can make putts on this.
It's pretty
There's
flat.
not a lot of break.
Yeah.
There's just not a lot of break. You're never getting one of these hard turn putts, where you've got to really figure out. Very rarely on this course will you have that. Most of them is see the hole hit the ball. They don't snap. They don't snap here. So I do think that I like the Denny McCarthy one just because I saw a couple of years ago. There was a buzz going around the course because Cam Smith was coming up on 16, and they were he's had 12 putts today, and I was like, wait, what?
Yes.
He's putting it. He's just jarring everything he took, and you can't do that in a lot of places.
So
you can't do that.
And that probably goes back to why you haven't seen the elite players win here. If putting is equalized a little bit, and that's a skill that generally some of the shorter hitters, the big bombers, the high-end players, some of them are good putters. That's what makes them elite. But the very top of the top on the greens don't tend to be the best iron players or tend to be the best drivers of the ball. They can equalize that a little bit more here, and then you add the variance of the water, and all of a sudden start flipping coins. And that mid-range has been what's hitting here the past 3 years. You have between 25 to 1 and 50 to 1. That range has won this tournament each of the past 3 years.
Can't let you get out of here without talking it through, a 4-leg parlay in round 1?
4-leg parlay? Yes. And one thing I did want to mention, too, because it is my favorite bet of the tournament. And again, we have 10 units to allocate. It's not how I would normally bet it, but if I were to go with a hammer bet, this is what I terminology that I like to use. I love Hideki Matsuyama, top Asian. There are 4 Asians in the tournament. You got Sung Jae Im, you got Siwoo Kim, and you have Kevin Yu.
Yep.
And you can get Matsuyama plus 150 to be top Asian.
Don't sleep on Kevin Yu.
We'll see.
Don't sleep on. Whoa.
But yeah, in terms of,
will you give me a line, Kevin?
I
Yu
will.
versus Hideki?
I think we should do a side bet. Side business.
Side bet here.
Set me a line. Set me a fair line.
So winner
really about to
of
pick
this competition is going to Sawgrass.
Yeah.
If Kevin Yu wins, I will take you to Sawgrass because I feel like I'm going to win this. So
It's that open. So what is that's a big prize.
yep.
That's a generous invitation.
Yep.
What do I need to put up against that? Or is it just like you're free rolling?
Free roll.
You're gonna
If you free roll me Kevin Yu here.
If Kevin Yu beats Matsuyama, I'll bring you to Sawgrass when I win.
What happens when Hideki WDs with a sore neck or back or whatever?
Oh, not in this
two
year.
rounds?
You kidding me? This is like heat pads all over.
I'm just saying, like,
We're getting Hideki. We're bringing him to the club tonight. We're getting him to do the Roxbury a little bit, and he's going to be wearing a neck brace tomorrow on the range.
The cool
probably still
thing
gonna
is,
win.
the cool thing is we're going to get to have this all week, as we said earlier. We're going to see how your first round bets went and how your tournament long bets are stacking up after that first round tomorrow here at TPC Southwind. And I want more of this banter. We're going to have this all week. That's the beauty of this. We've got 4 different styles. We had Chris come in today and help us out. He'll be here all week as well with your radio show, right? Tell us about it.
Yeah, I'll be bouncing around all week.
Where can they find you?
Everywhere. Chris Vernon Show. Anywhere.
Right.
Just type it in, it'll show up everywhere.
For the locals, Chris Vernon Show.
No. For the worldwide audience,
Okay.
Chris Vernon Show, just type it in.
All right, get the Chris Vernon Show, no matter where you are, even if you're in Australia or New Zealand with Foxy and friends. But otherwise, we're going to be here at 14 doing our shows all week. We're going to pit your bets up against each other. We're going to find out how you guys did in round 1. We're going to see where your tournament bets are headed. We're going to hear more about how Kevin Yu's doing and how Hideki's doing and where you're sitting in that race to TPC Sawgrass. So make sure if you're on site, you come and join us here at the 14th hole in the BetSuite. And otherwise, catch us in all our shows online at Golfbet here at TPC Southwind.